While you're discovering Bardstown, I encourage you to take the short trip to Log Still Distillery, which is less than 15 miles away. President and distiller J.W. Dant, who goes by Wally, joins us this morning to share a story really of heritage and revival. I find the story fascinating. So, Wally, your family has a really rich history in the bourbon business that dates back to the 1830s.
hmm
How did Log Still Distillery come about?
Well, in many respects, this was a legacy for my family, and and we are seven generations into this bourbon business. My grandfather was the last to be in the distilling business. He retired in 1974, and so we have the Dants have been around at that bourbon industry for quite some time, and this was a way for me to give back to the local community, to resurrect our old distillery here in Gethsemane, and really live a legacy, bring a legacy, and revive a legacy back, and bring our name back into the bourbon business again.
Speaking of the name Log Still Distillery, where does that come from?
Well, there was a couple of distillers that were known for distilling in hollowed out logs. Wathen was one, and J.W. Dant, my great 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 grandfather, was another. And it was a way for those that couldn't afford copper. Copper stills, I think they were made in Pittsburgh at the time. So this is again back in the 1830s. And so it was frontier ingenuity that said, hey, instead of a copper still, why don't I try it in a hollowed out log? And so we believe, just through family lore, that he began in a hollowed out log. He's one of the known distillers that are known to do that. And by making a consistent product, he was pretty successful at it. And that's how the J.W. Dant brand became known at that point in time, and until he could afford to buy a copper still himself.
Now, what will you be distilling?
We will be doing traditional high rye bourbons, which is what the Dant family is known for. And we actually have the old mash bills that J.W. Dant had at the time, so we know what those are. And we're able to reproduce the yeast that was actually used on site. So our process is really going to be an homage back to his original recipes that he used here on site. So we've got the high rye bourbons. We also are doing some rye whiskeys, as well as some gin. And, that gin contains, I think, some botanicals that we're trying to source locally to really add our flavor to our flavor profile to gins.
So, what would somebody experience on a trip to Log Still Distillery? Because I know, you have a tasting room, bed and breakfast. This is all new, but again, with a rich history. You're combining both.
Yeah. What we've tried to do here at Log Still is a little bit different. We're we're looking to make it a destination place for not only bourbon enthusiasts, but for families of bourbon enthusiasts. And so we have a bed and breakfast. We're working with the Kentucky Railway Museum on the train line, having a depot out here at our distillery, being able to stop at our distillery, disembark there, enjoying the day, enjoying the lake that we have, an 11-acre lake that's going to have the opportunity for kids and families to go fishing. And we're actually we are putting together an event center as we speak that'll seat 350 guests at tables. So for corporate conferences, weddings, for group events, we're trying to make this a destination campus, right outside of Bardstown here in southern Nelson County. And we're really excited about, what we are hoping to, do for the community.
Wally, why did you go into this? Was this just in your blood? Did you always know that you were going to carry on the legacy of your family?
Well, for all of us, Dance, I would tell you, and there's quite a bit of them either here or in Kentucky in general. I think all of us, since the family sold out of that brand in the early 40s, thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to bring the Dant name back into the business again? and in an ownership perspective. And so I think for all of us, having that opportunity that's been afforded to me and my family, and to bring that legacy back, have many of our family members work as a part of what we're developing here at Log Still, is exciting and really an honor for my parents and my grandparents and the forefathers that have gone before us.
We're exploring all kinds of one tank trips. And I know for a fact that it's one, and I'm over in New Albany. Our viewers are in Kentucky and Indiana. And I do know one tank, that's for sure. And that's it. When can people get on the road and come and see you?
So our bed and breakfast will be open the end of October. Our tasting room, which will be our first building, and that'll contain our mini still, that'll be open right before Christmas. So, for any of those that want to continue to follow along our progress, we're having updates regularly on our webpage, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us everywhere, and we're continuing to update people on exactly when we have parts of our campus open.
Well, cheers to you, Wally. Thanks so much for taking the time. And like Wally said, you can follow Log Still Distillery all over social media and also visit logstilldistillery.com.
Okay, thank you, Angie. I appreciate you taking the time.